guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is Sunday, October the 14th, and I'm back in the kitchen today, and we're going to make a pumpkin pie. So just come along with me and I will give y'all the ingredients. First, I have the oven set to 425 degrees. So we will start baking the pie at 425, but then after, after 15 minutes, reduce the temperature to 350 degrees. And I'm using my old Libby's pumpkin pie recipe. I've probably had this at least 30 or 40 years. So let's get started. I've already got most of the ingredients out. Okay, so it says 2 eggs slightly beaten. So we'll get started with the 2 eggs. I did get my mixer out, although you can just use a whisk if you want to. But I think to get a real good mixture, I'll use my little mixer. Okay, it just says to combine filling ingredients in order given and then pour into the pie crust. So 2 eggs slightly beaten. So I'm going to kind of beat these with my French whisk, just a little bit. Okay, and then we're just going to dump in everything else. Okay, so it did call for a can of pumpkin, and this is the pumpkin that was gifted to me from the food pantry a couple of weeks ago whenever I went. So I'm thankful for that. I can turn it into something nutritious and delicious. I consider a pumpkin pie nutritious, don't y'all? I mean, it has eggs in it and spices that are good for you. Pumpkin is a vegetable. And a little sugar never hurt anybody, did it? Okay, and then it calls for 1 can of evaporated milk. So I have that here. We're going to dump that in. Always push your metal lids down so nobody will get hurt or cut on that. Okay. And then 3/4 cup of sugar. I'm not using Domino sugar, which is sweeter. So I'm using the Great Value sugar. So I put a little bit more than 3/4 of a cup. And for y'all that don't know this little inside joke, when I worked for Dr. Steroid, his wife had come over there and I was baking something in the kitchen and we ran out of sugar, so I had to go to the grocery store to buy sugar. Well, she was so hoity-toity that she didn't want anything in the house that was not name brand. So she tells me, buy Domino sugar because it's sweeter. I know some of y'all have heard that story, but I am repeating it. Okay, so we got the sugar. And then, okay, here goes the spices. 1/2 teaspoon salt. Okay, so here we go with the salt. 1/2 teaspoon ginger. It smells good. So here's the ginger. 1/4 teaspoon cloves. 1/4 teaspoon cloves. And then a teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay, and I will leave the recipe down in the description, y'all. So there's the cinnamon. Let me move all of this so I don't knock it over and spill it. Okay, I believe that's everything. 2 eggs, 1 can pumpkin, 3/4 cup sugar, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon ground cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon ground ginger, 1/4 teaspoon ground cloves, and the coronation milk. And then the unbaked pie crust, which I have right here. And I did prick it with the fork so that it doesn't rise. So I'm going to use my new spatula from Tracy, my friend who lives in Dallas. And y'all remember he is the one who donated the that women's Vince Camuto Fiore perfume and the men's cologne. And that did go out in the mail Wednesday. The men's cologne went to Clay Van Ostron up in Auburn, New York. And the perfume was actually won by Lost on Land again, but she gifted it to Totally Kathy. So it was mailed out to Sioux City, Nebraska. I think that's the name of the town. And then I did mail the lizard skin purse to Tuesday. Now, Tuesday lives in Switzerland, but her mama lives in Colorado. And they're coming over to visit her mom for Christmas. So she did, she saved me a lot of money, y'all, by letting me ship the lizard skin purse to her mother's house in Colorado. Okay, so I'm just going to mix it for a minute. Okie doke. So let me pour it in the crust and then, ooh, got a little bit too much. That's okay. I'll figure out something to do with that. In fact, I think I got too much in here. I don't even think I can get it in the oven without making a big mess. I know it's supposed to be put on a cookie sheet, but I'm going to take my chance and be very careful so this aluminum pie plate doesn't fold up on me. Okay, I did spill a little of it. Let me wipe that up. Okay, so I'm going to let that cook on 450 for 15 minutes. And then it says to turn the temperature down to 350 degrees and bake in an additional 40 to 50 minutes. So let's go look at the clock. I have some stories to tell y'all. A couple of things I want to talk to you about. So let's go in the living room. Okay, it's 10 minutes till 3, so at 5 after 3, I have to turn that oven down to 350. I do not want to burn pumpkin pie. So anyway, there's a little boy who has a fishing channel, and he asked me a long time ago to give him a shout out. And I feel bad that I haven't done it before now, so I'm going to do it today. But his name is Terry, and the name of his channel is Rippin Lips, and that's Rippin with an apostrophe, and Lips, Lips. Well, before I said something like that, I had to ask him, what does it mean? And he said it means, I guess when a fisherman has the hook too tight, and they go and hook the fish, sometimes it'll rip the fish's lips. So that's what Rippin Lips mean. But it's Rippin lips57, and I will leave the name of it down in the description. And also I have been nominated by the Blue Bike and Doyle it's called the 3 Things Challenge. And the challenge is 3 things that you don't know about me. Well, that's kind of hard to come up with because I've just about spilled the beans to y'all on my life. But I did think of 3 things. One of them is I am an avid proponent of breastfeeding. Now, I near about had to fight to breastfeed my first child. My son Jason was born in 1973, and that's when the pharmaceutical companies were pushing, you know, the formula, the Similac and Enfamil and all that stuff. And I mean, the nurses, you know, when the baby was born, they were taken from you. You know, they were taken and bathed and wrapped up in a blanket and put in the nursery. And, the baby did not stay in the same room with the mother. And, they would come in there with a bottle and the formula. And I had to fight near about to breastfeed my baby. So I am a big proponent on breastfeeding. And all the hospitals today are taking that stance. I did see a big difference when little Ife was born. I did not see a bottle or any formula anywhere on that maternity ward. So they do, push the breastfeeding nowadays, which is wonderful. Because, breastfeeding, the milk is full of antibodies, and that's what the baby needs. And the human milk is formulated, God made it for the human body and to help the baby, the human brain grow. And you put that formula in a baby, and I just don't think it's healthy for them. So the pharmaceutical companies who make the formula, they push all of this, and then when the babies get sick because they don't have a very good immune system, then you have to buy their medicine. Also, I detest racism. I was brought up in segregated South Mississippi, and even when I was a child, 3, 4, 5 years old, I loved Maggie. She was the black lady that took care of me, and she loved me, and I loved her. She loved me more than my own mama did, and I certainly loved her more than I loved Dorothy. But, I could just see that the black people, they were called the N-word, not in a derogatory manner. That's just how everybody in the South referred to people who were black. I didn't like it then, and I certainly don't like it today. And I just don't understand why people are prejudiced against somebody, because of the color of their skin. It just makes me sick. And another thing that sickened me, I'll tell y'all this little story. Now, Mother, after Daddy died, Mother remarried this man named Neil. Well, Neil's daughter was married to a black man. Well, they wanted to come visit Mama and Neil. Neil had moved into the house there in Lumberton where I had grown up. And, he and Mother were making a life together there. Well, they forbade his daughter and her black husband to come and visit them. They could come up the driveway, but that's as far as they could go. They would not let them in the house. And, they wanted to spend the night. And his daughter wanted to visit with her dad. And so her husband even offered, y'all, to sleep on the floor. And my mother and Neil would not even let that happen. That just disgusted me and made me sick. And I let my mother know how I felt about it. Of course, that didn't change her ways. The third thing about me is I have been single for 27 years. I divorced John L. Sullivan in 1991, and I've never remarried. So let me go ahead and finish up. Now, I have to nominate 3 people for the 3 Things Challenge. The first one is Monchichi. Now, Monchichi, I know you don't talk in your videos. You're very mysterious. But you've got to let us know 3 things that we don't know about you. And y'all can go over and check out his channel. It's all lowercase, and it's Monchichi. And y'all, he is a wood maker. He makes these beautiful bowls and other items out of wood. Okay, the second one is I'm Not Chuck. Okay, Charles, you got to tell us 3 things that we don't know about you. And y'all, he has the most beautiful voice, and he does the greatest commentary. So y'all go over and check out his channel. And the third channel is The Life of Nana. Nana has a new channel, and she's doing a fabulous job, y'all. She has a Friday night women's Bible study. So please go over and check out Nana. And Nana, you have to tell us now 3 things that we don't know about you. So I'll be back in a little while and show you this pie. And let's hope that filling is not too thin. And y'all just keep on coming back. Bye, guys.